Welcome back. How is everyone? It's been a minute. I took a couple days off from these silly... today we're going to probably finish. I don't know. We'll see. We're getting close to the end of the first of Carl Jung's Black Books. So we will see how it goes. Good news. If you saw the last one, you remember I was briefly looking for these. Now, these aren't as visible. Oh, wait. What? If that's here, then what is here? Because I thought that the tiger's eye runes were in this black one. I had a whole thing. They're all mixed up. Okay, so there's some runes in here, and there's some runes in here. There you go. Here's one. It looks like a fish. If you've seen the latest Rick and Morty, it's the one with the runes and Valhalla and all that good stuff. See, there you go. Very nice. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I found them from one of the very few, very brief Nordic phases. This one I had in common with Pew, where she was briefly interested in Nordic things. Okay, shall we get to it? We shall. Okay, even though it's very late in the movie, for some reason, on multiple playlists, the dehomization track comes first. It's not late in the movie. It's when they come through at the park. If you haven't seen it, by all means, Les Hommes Sauvages, is that the band or the movie? Les Hommes Sauvages. Planet Sauvage. That's the French. It's the Fantastic Planet in English. People say, these days it's popular to say watch it in the original language with subtitles. But I say, if you don't speak French, watch the English dub. For one reason, and one reason alone. And that is, they live, they are the people of the hollow log. They live across the park. Or no. Beware of them. They are evil. They live on the other side of the park. It just, for me, it lands. I'm the only person I've ever met that laughs every time that line comes up. It's just so very human. Anyway, I'm going to do this one a little differently. So here, we're going to that into your face, and I'm going to read about it while you look at it. Image 105, LN. In 1930, Jung anonymously reproduced this image in, quote, commentary on, italics, the secret of the golden flower, and italics, as a mandala painted by a male patient during treatment. He reproduced it again in 1952 in, quote, concerning mandala symbolism, end quote, and wrote, picture by a middle-aged man. In the center is a star. The blue sky contains golden clouds. At the 4 cardinal points, we see human figures at the top, an old man in the attitude of contemplation at the bottom. Loki, or Hephaestus, with red flaming hair, holding in his hands a temple. To the right and left are a light and dark female figure. Together, they indicate 4 aspects of the personality, or 4 archetypal figures belonging, as it were, to the periphery of the self. The 2 female figures can be recognized without difficulty as the 2 aspects of the anima. The old man corresponds to the archetype of meaning, or of the spirit, and the dark chthonic figure to the opposite of the wise old man Oh, to the wise old man, namely the magical parentheses and sometimes destructive end parentheses Luciferian element, period, full stop. In alchemy, it is Hermes Trismegistus versus Mercurius, the evasive, quote, trickster, end quote. The circle enclosing the sky contains structures or organisms that look like protozoa. The 16 globes painted in 4 colors just outside the circle derived originally from an eye motif and therefore stand for observing and discriminating consciousness. Similarly, the ornaments in the next circle, all opening inwards, are rather like the vessels pouring over their content toward the center. Pouring out their content toward the center. Bracket parentheses, F something, FN. Let me get the magnifying glass. All right. Bracket parentheses, FN. Yeah. Maybe we need to check out the... Oh, no, that's a different book. There is a similar conception in alchemy in the Ripley scroll and its various parentheses within bracket parentheses, variants, parentheses within bracket parentheses, italics, psychology and alchemy, comma, figure 257, end parentheses within bracket parentheses. There it is the planetary gods with a capital G, betraying a misunderstanding of when to capitalize and when not to capitalize God or gods. If it has a capital G and an S at the end, you fucked up. That's just basically it. Who are pouring their qualities into the bath of rebirth. End bracket parentheses, unless you're making a point to like give the amount of respect to like Aphrodite and Hermes and Eros and Zeus and them that is normally reserved for the Judeo-Christian Abrahamic monotheistic one God. In which case, all right, that's a choice you made. Okay, all right. It's a free country? What country? I don't know. I'm in India. Anyway, where were we? Yes. On the other hand, the ornaments along the rim open outward as if to receive something from outside. That is, in the individuation process, what were originally projections stream back, quote, inside, end quote, and are integrated into the personality again. Here, in contrast to figure 25, quote, above, end quote, and, quote, below, end quote, male and female are integrated, as in the alchemical hermaphrodite. Parentheses, CW9PT, Roman numeral I, some kind of symbol that looks like 2 capital S's that are typed slightly in different places, at an angle. 682, end parentheses. The figure at the top is Philemon, and the figure at the bottom is Ka. Oh, so this is Jung. This isn't a patient of his, is it? Unless he's like putting his Philemon in other people, which we know he does that kind of thing. Or steals things from Tony Wolff, right? According to Tony Wolff. Okay. Next image, you can put that in your eyeballs while I read. This one is briefer. Not reefer, briefer. Image 109, LN. The legend reads, quote, "This man of matter rises up too far in the world of the spirit. There the spirit bores through his heart with the golden ray. He falls with joy and disintegrates. The serpent, who is the evil one, could not remain in the world of the spirit." End quote. Wow. Got speared by the spirit. Ooh. You seen the Doctor Who, where he divides in half? Oops, spoiler. I made that up, if you haven't seen the episode. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Okay, now put this in your noodle. And I'll read about it very briefly. Image Roman numeral 3, LN. The legend reads, quote, "The serpent fell dead onto the earth, and that was the umbilical cord of a new birth." End quote. Cool. Next. Right? Image 113, LN. Oh, Liber Novus. Oh. Tricking me into not pronouncing it fancily. The legend read, quote, "This is the image of the divine child. It means the contemplation of a long path, just as the image was finished in April 1919, and work on the next image had already begun. The one who brought the sun came," I assume, because it's a capital O with a dot in the middle, "as Philemon had predicted to me. I called him Thames." Yes, if I recall correctly, that is related to the sun, because he is the newly appearing God. End quote. Next. Put it in your eye. Look at it. Look at it. Image 117 from Liber Novus. Now, of course, we're going to be going through all these again later when we read Liber Novus. Okay. Text in image. Capital ATMAVICTU. Just for fun, I'll try to pronounce that. Atmavictu. Juvenis adiutor, parentheses, a youthful supporter. And parentheses, just say it in English, dude. I don't need your Latin. All right. Telesphorus, spiritus malus in hominibus, quibus dam, parentheses, evil spirit in some men, end parentheses. The legend reads, quote, "The dragon wants to eat the sun, and the youth beseeches him not to, but he eats it nevertheless." End quote. Next. Sorry. Image 19, it's the music. I'm imitating the music. Oh, this is the opening scene from the movie. Okay. Image 119, Liber Novus. The legend reads, quote, "The accursed dragon has eaten the sun. Its belly is being cut open, and he must now hand over the gold of the sun, together with his blood. This is the turning back of Atma Victu, of the old one. He who destroyed the proliferating green covering is youth who helped me to kill Siegfried." End quote. As I've mentioned before, of all the things I'm reading right now, some of which is quite poetic and sort of cosmic and barely comprehensible, these black books are by far the least comprehensible. Oh, here's an image that someone posted on Facebook the other day. And then someone was like, "What the heck is the mana personality?" And someone was like, "It's a very important thing in psychology that's studied and wondered about by many people." And then the guy who asked the question was like, "You've told me nothing." So I went on and said, the mana personality is the personality which develops after. I didn't use all the technical terms. I just said that according to this idea, your parent, you externalize your soul, or a person externalizes their soul in the form of a parent that they then seek out in a romantic partner. But then when they stop doing that and they integrate their soul back into themselves, then they become the mana personality, which is the hero, magician, or great mother from the collective unconscious. And then they might think that their process is complete and that they've finally arrived, but there's more to do, and when they deconstruct them on a personality, they finally become themselves. Jung stuff. He didn't click like on my reply. Anyway, we've all been there, right? Exactly like that. That's how we all respond. Oh, put that in your eye, man. Image 121 from Liber Novus. The legend reads, quote, XI period MCMXIX bracket parentheses I period 1919. Okay, so it's Roman numeral 9, Roman numeral 9, Roman numeral 1919, bracket parentheses, Roman numeral 2, Arabic numeral, which are actually Indian numerals. The guy that popularized those, he got it from India. So they call them Arabic numerals, but they came from India. You should know that. Do you know that? Now you do. You can Google it if you don't believe me, because Google. Never mind. And bracket parentheses, this stone set so beautifully is certainly the lapis philosophorum. It is harder than diamond, but it expands into space through 4 distinct qualities, namely breadth, height, depth, and time. It is hence invisible, and you can pass through it without noticing it. The 4 streams of Aquarius flow from the stone. This is the incorruptible seed that lies between the father and the mother and prevents the heads of both cones from touching. It is the monad that countervails the pleroma. End quote. You know what I'm going to say. The least comprehensible. All right. This image, 122, Liber Novus, the legend reads, quote, a December MCMXIX, bracket parentheses, 1919, and bracket parentheses. This is the backside of the gem. He who is in the stone has this shadow. This is Atmaviktu, the old one, after he has withdrawn. Get it? From the creation. He has returned to endless history, where he took his beginning. Once more he has become stony residue, having completed his creation in the form of Izdubar. He has outgrown man and delivered, I assume that's Philemon. Here it's just the Greek letters without the Latin letter. Really? That's it? We went through the entire soundtrack? Sorry. Philemon and Ka from him. Philemon gave the stone, Ka the sun. Remember, Ka's the black magician that lives in Carl Jung's brain. End quote. All right. Here's this. This is a repeat. I apologize, but it's just for ambience. Oh, and there's nothing written for it. Good. Next. Image 123, Liber Novus, the legend reads, quote, Roman numeral 4, January, Roman numeral 1920. This is the caster of holy water. The kabiri grow out of the flowers that spring from the body of the dragon. Above is the temple. End quote. Are we talking about the Samothracian kabiri? Because if so, spell it with a K, dude. Come on. Image 125, Liber Novus. All right, they're not going to say anything about it? Well, I'm going to look at it. There's a man wearing a nemes or with shoulder-ish length black hair, holding a red vase on his head, above which is a giant earth sign that has 8 points that look fiery, and the whole thing looks like the sun, but it has the symbol of the earth, and he's hovering above the earth doing some kind of funky splits, and he appears to have extra limbs, or he's... Oh, no, those are his feet. Okay, so he's sitting on a couch on the horizon or in the sky above a city that is probably somewhere in Switzerland, and there's a factory as well. Okay. Neat. Next. Put it in your eye, please. Look at it. Gaze upon it. Image 127, Liber Novus. The legend at the top reads, quote, Amor triumphat, end quote. Parentheses, love triumphs, end parentheses. The legend at the bottom reads, quote, this image was completed on 9 January 1921 after it had waited incomplete for 9 months. It expresses I know not what kind of grief. A fourfold sacrifice. I could almost choose not to finish it. It is the inexorable wheel of the four functions, the essence of all living beings imbued with sacrifice. End quote. All right. So you got the symbol within itself on the upper left. You got Yeshua having a very bad day, also known as Station 12 of the 14. And then on the lower left, you've got something happening. Oh, it's a tree being chopped down by an axe. Okay. And on the lower right, it's a cow, again, having a very bad day. Okay. Moving along. You can put this in your eye while I... Yeah, see? These are like the songs in between that other playlist left out. I like it. I dig it. Image 154, Liber Novus. Marginal comment, quote, the Bhagavad Gita says, whenever there is a decline in the law and an increase of iniquity, then I put forth myself for the rescue of the pious and for the destruction of the evildoers. For the establishment of the law, I am born in every age. End quote. The citation is from chapter 4, verses 7 through 8 of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is instructing Arjuna for the ancient Sanskrit folk, concerning the nature of truth. Yes, right here. Bhagavad Gita. B-H, Baha, not Ba, Bhagavad Gita. All right. Whoa. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We're actually going to finish volume 1 of the 7 today. All right. I'm going to have to read quickly, though, because there's a full page about each of these. Gaze upon the diagram before you while I will expound upon its meaning. Just like old times, eh? I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the person who got that joke. Image 159, Liber Novus. Jung anonymously reproduced... Sorry. Jung anonymously reproduced this in 1929 in, quote, commentary on The Secret of the Golden Flower, end quote, and reproduced it again in 1952, adding the following commentary, quote, the rose in the center is depicted as a ruby, its outer ring being conceived as a wheel or a wall with gates, parentheses, so that nothing can come out from inside or go in from outside, end parentheses. The mandala was a spontaneous product from the analysis of a male person. Perfect music for a male person. Quote, end quote, after narrating the patient's dream, Jung added, the dreamer went on, quote, I tried to paint this dream, but as so often happens, it came out rather different. The magnolia turned into a sort of rose made of ruby-colored glass. It shone like a four-rayed star. The square represents the wall of the park, and at the same time a street leading round the park in a square. From it, there radiate 8 main streets, and from each of these 8 side streets, which meet in a shining red central point, rather like the Étoile in Paris. Paris. I got my R's mixed up. The acquaintance mentioned in the dream lived in a house at the corner of one of these stars. End quote. The mandala thus combines the classic motifs of flower, star, circle, precinct, parentheses, temenos, end parentheses, and plan of city divided into quarters with citadel. Quote, the whole thing seemed like a window opening onto eternity, end quote, wrote the dreamer. Parentheses, quote, concerning mandala symbolism, end quote, CW9, part 1, funky S thing, 654-55, presumably 655. Just drop the 6 when you're given funky S-looking thing, doubled numbers, and parentheses. Okay. I had a thought. What was it? Do you know? No. Neither. Oh, yeah. The quarters. So in Paris, there's the Latin quarter, which is like the old part of town. And then meanwhile, in New Orleans, there's the French quarter. So I propose that when we start to colonize Mars or whatever, that there be a city somewhere that's divided into quarters, and one of the quarters should definitely be the New Orleans quarter. Just continue the fractal forward. Fractal it forward, right? Like the movie. In 1955 through 56, Jung used a similar expression. Quote within quotes, window, end quote within quotes, opening to a cemetery, opening to eternity. Same difference. End quote, to denote the illustration of the self, parentheses, italics, mysterium, conjunctio, it's Latin, who cares? Mysterium coniunctionis, CW 14, funky S thing, 763. End parentheses. On October 7, 1932, Jung showed this mandala in a seminar and commented on it the next day. In this account, he states that the painting of the mandala preceded the dream. All right. You remember possibly the picture that I showed you last evening. Who are you talking to? Who's talking? What the hell is going on? Last evening, the central stone and the little jewels round it, it is perhaps interesting if I tell you about the dream in connection with it. I was the perpetrator of that mandala. Can you be the perpetrator of a mandala? All right. At a time when I had not the slightest idea what a mandala was, and in my extreme modesty I thought, I am the jewel in the center, and those little lights are surely very nice people who believe that they are also jewels, but smaller ones. 4 dots, I thought very well of myself that I was able to express myself like that. My marvelous center here, and I am right in my heart. Aww. He added that at first he did not recognize that the park in the dream was the same one he had depicted in the mandala, and commented, quote, now Liverpool is the center of life. Is it? Is it though? I mean, liver is the center of life. Oh, what? The freak? Okay. And I am not the center. I am the food who lives in a dark place somewhere. What's going on? It got even less comprehensible than usual. Whoo. Whoo. Okay, let's keep going. I am one of those little sidelights. In that way, my Western prejudice, that I was the center of the mandala, was corrected. That I am everything, the whole show, the king, the god. End quote, parentheses, the psychology of Kundalini Yoga, comma, E.D. Sonu Shamdasani, page 100. That's this book here. Yes. I did that without looking. Aren't you impressed? In Memories, Jung added further details, parentheses, PP 223 through 24, presumably 224, end parentheses. Okay, here is the last image in the book. These last pages are like index, so like individual in the cosmology, page 527. So like it's the index. So you can look, I want to read about knowledge. Knowledge, belief, verses, 5-229, that kind of thing. So we're not going to read that. This is the last actual page of the first of the 7 black books in the Black Book series. And here's the image. You're going to look at it, I'm going to read about it, and then I'm going to cluck like a chicken. And I'm serious. I'm not even joking. Okay. Image 163, Liber Novus. The legend reads, quote, 1928, when I painted this image, which showed the well-fortified golden castle, Richard Wilhelm sent me from Frankfurt the 1,000-year-old Chinese text of the Golden Castle, the embryo of the immortal body. Ecclesia Catholic et Protestantes et seclusi in secreto, aeon finitus, and, quote, parentheses, the Catholic Church and the Protestants and those secluded in secret, the end of an eon. End quote. What? Let me read that again without the Latin. Richard Wilhelm sent me from Frankfurt the 1,000-year-old Chinese text of the Golden Castle, comma, the embryo of the immortal body, period. New sentence. Ecclesia Catholic et Protestant. What are you? Stop taking drugs and proofread those 2 things, please. What the fuck? I'll continue. Jung anonymously reproduced this in 1929 in, quote, commentary on The Secret of the Golden Flower, end quote. He reproduced it again in 1952 in, quote, Concerning Mandala Symbolism, end quote, and added the following commentary. Painting of a medieval city with walls and moats, streets and churches arranged quadratically. The inner city is again surrounded by walls and moats, like the imperial city in Peking, now known as in Beijing. Anyway. The buildings all open inward toward the center, represented by a castle with a golden roof. It too is surrounded by a moat. The ground round the castle is laid with black and white tiles representing the united opposites. Okay, I see it. This mandala was done by a middle-aged man, 4 dots. A picture like this is unknown in Christian symbolism. The heavenly Jerusalem of Revelation is known to everybody. Coming to the Indian world of ideas, we find the city of Brahma on the world mountain, Meru. we read in The Golden Flower, quote, "The Book of the Yellow Castle says," quote within quotes, "in the square-inch field of the square-foot house, life can be regulated," end quote within quotes. Hint. Sorry. The square-foot house is the face. Damn it. I thought I was... the square-inch field is the face. What? The square-foot house is the face, the square-inch face, field in the face. What could that be other than the heavenly heart? In the middle of the square-inch dwells the splendor. In the purple hall of the city of jade dwells the God of utmost emptiness and life, end quote. CW 9, part Roman numeral 1, 691. It's here. It's here. Why isn't it saying it? Come on, man. Come on. Are you veiling it? It's behind a veil. Oh, they're not ready for that. The Western mind isn't ready for my Eastern wisdom, says Carl Jung. Sorry. With all respect. See, if you say that, you can say anything else, right? On this mandala, see John Peck. Quote, "The Visio Dorothea, desert context, imperial setting, later alignments, studies in the dreams and visions of Saint Pachomius and Dorotheus, son of Quinus," end quote, parentheses, thesis, C.G. Jung Institute, Zurich, 1992, end parentheses, page 183 through 185. We finished it! We finished it! This is cause for celebration. It's time to celebrate! Time to celebrate! Woo! Okay. It's just a little, you know how it goes. You gotta celebrate, right? You gotta celebrate a little bit when you accomplish things, you know? Like, you gotta do, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous understands if it's for church, right? So, you know, you just become a priest and, Haec commixtio et consecratio corporis et sanguis Domini nostri Iesu Christi fiat et subjantibus nobis in viat aeternam, etc., panem Domine, non sum dignis, ut entre sub tectus meum, sed tantum dic verbo et sonabitur anima, Carl Jung, anima, mea. Oh shit, that's for the host. Quid retribuam domino. I'm gonna have Domino's. I'm gonna order a pizza or something. Pro omnibus quae retribuit mihi. So that reminds me. Fuck it. Ding ding ding. Somebody's Christy. That reminds me. One more week, and we will be getting the first of the books of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin that we're going to be reading. I mean me, on chicken philosophy, the divine milieu. So there's something to look forward to. And if you watch this all the way to the end, then please, by all means, tap on the screen and then now tap on the lower right corner so that it shrinks the video down to like the 3/4 size, and then give it a like. Because otherwise you can't like these vertical videos. It's kind of a thing that stacks the algorithm against the vertical videos. That's not your problem. It's not my problem either, because I don't really give a shit. But why not? I'd like to see a like or two if you liked it. And well, we finished book one. Let's do the ceremonial putting of the book back, even though I'm just going to have to pull it out later so that I can scan all those pictures. There's all 7. Next time on the Chicken Philosophy Black Books, we'll be opening the 2nd volume. Until then, I bid you a heartfelt